Just want to let you lot know that if you're watching this clip on the Fozcast YouTube channel, the full episode is now available to watch exclusively on Spotify, and it's free. Come on.
When we sold Leyton Orient, it was taken over by an Italian owner, lunatic, right? And we lost in the playoff final to the championships. Our wage bill was £1.7 million a year, total wage bill for the squad. He came in, the wage bill was about 5 million.
Wow.
And we got relegated twice on the bounce, to the point where the performance was so bad, he came down from the dugout, I don't know if you remember this, and booted the manager. Like, he came up behind him and just kicked him up the arse.
I don't remember
that. Yeah, and it was wild.
Who was the manager at the time?
Oh,
Can you remember?
I can't even remember. No, it was pre Justin Edinburgh and those guys, but he just booted him straight up, and he's like, the manager's turned around and go, "What are you doing?" He's going, "Fuck,
do something."
Yeah, I know,
5 million, yeah.
And that was like my old man. My old man would have an AGM. And the fans would go, "Put some more money in, Hearn." And he'd go, "Absolutely not. You put some money in. You know, this is the wage bill. I'm not spending 1 penny more."
Yeah.
And then when we were going through a bad spell, my old man's like me. You know, he's really emotional about the sport and stuff like that. And there was people like screaming at him from down in the crowd, "Hearn," and he'd look down and he'd go, "Fuck off, come fucking outside," like that. I'm like, "Bazza, whoa, you can't do that." You know what I mean? Someone was giving out leaflets about get rid of Hearn, and he just went up and like knocked him on the floor and said, "You give out these leaflets again, I'm telling you." "All right, sorry." But he was pretty real with the club. They loved him in the end, kind of.
How do you, like, we're talking about that, like when you're at a presser or weigh in or something, the emotion, because obviously it's a sport, but the reality is the people are fighting. So that adrenaline must be mental.
Yeah, like 99.9% of fighters, everything you see is real.
Yeah.
And people always say to me, "Oh, that was a setup." You know, Chisora picked up a table and slung it at me and Dillian White. They're all going, "That was a setup." I'm saying, do you know how heavy that table was? Like, you know, but there's other people, they're like clever people. David Hay, you know, we were talking about earlier. He was very clever at like a lot of what he did was premeditated. You know, when he fought Tony Bellew, we're at the presser, and I've always got on with him, all right? And I'm doing the presser, and I've gone, "David, over to you to say a few words." And he went, "Oh, here we go, apples and pears. It's the Eddie Hearn show," you know. And I've gone, "Sorry," like that. And he's gone, "Yeah, you always want to be centre of attention, you know, blah 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 blah." And I've like half lost it with him. I'm going, "No." I said, "Well, lucky I'm putting the show on because you're skint and you need this fight." And he's going, "No, I don't need him. You're a joke. You're only here because you're old man." Blah. And I'm like, my heart's beating out my chest, thinking, is he having a laugh? Anyway, done the head to head. They've kind of shoved each other. And after that, I went for lunch. And as I come out of the restaurant, it's actually around the corner here, Smith and Valensky's. I came out of the restaurant, and my phone's gone. David Hay. And I'm like, and he never really called me. So I went, "Hello." He went, "How good was that?" I went, "You what?" He went, "How good was that?" I went, "Good was what?" He went, "Well, our presser." I went, "You taking the fucking piss?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I went, "You mugged me, like you fully mugged me off." And you know, "Yeah, Ed, have you seen the news? It's everywhere." I'm like, yeah. And it was like, that's kind of like the education of what it is, which is a massive show, like a pantomime. I don't know if you've seen McMahon on Netflix, the Vince McMahon story. I mean, he's well out there. He's like on another planet. But really, that's what it is. It's just a big show. But it's a show of a barbaric nature. Yeah. With just, for me, it's the most compelling sport in the world. But you have to deal with all kinds of different personalities at different times. And these people, they have the ability to flick a switch and it's like a tornado. It all goes off. And when it goes, it goes, especially the big guys. Like when we had, you know, it's quite a famous story with Derek Chisora and Dillian White. And there was so much bad blood between these two, I can't even tell you. And I thought, I've got to make this fight because, like, it's that volatile. The build-up is going to be epic. So I signed the fight, brought him to the press conference, and I said, "Dillian White, this man here, Derek Chisora, what do you think of him? I'm going to do this. I'm going to smash." And you know what? When the fight's over, he's still on. You know, if I see him out, blah, 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 I'm sitting there going, "You know, this is lively." And I go, "Derek, what have you got to say?" And he goes, "Nothing at all." And I said, "What do you mean?" He went, "You're not paying me to promote this fight." He said, "You're not building me in on the pay-per-view." So I've got nothing to say. So I'm like, what? Anyway, finished the presser. I go up to him. I said, "What are you doing?" well, no, you're not giving me any of the pay-per-view. I said, you said you didn't want any pay-per-view. You just wanted the money up front.
Yeah.
No, well, I want, I want to be built into the show. If I'm going to sell it for you. I was like, we've done the deal. He said, well, give me that watch.
No, come
I
on.
said, no. I said, I ain't giving you more. He said, I'd like a Sky Dweller. I was like, give me that watch and I'll sell the show. I went, no. I'll tell you what I'll do. This does over 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I'll buy you one. Right? And he goes, all right then. We went down the studio for The Gloves Are Off on Sky. He's gone, you're a donkey, bang. Dillian White's picked up his glass, slung it at him. Derek's jumped on him, bit him on the chest. God. They're rolling around on the floor, having a full-blown tear.
Are you trying to get in the middle of this?
No, I'm running down I'm in the green room, right? So I'm running down the corridor to the studio. And as I'm running down there, I'm going, what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? And then, luckily, when I opened the door, there was security all over them. And then the back end of that was another press conference where he threw the table. By then, he'd lost the plot, and it went properly road. Like it weren't about the Rolex anymore. But anyway, done about 400,000 buys, and I bought him a Sky Dweller. But it's just these are the characters that you're dealing with, and there's no barriers to entry in boxing. So. Whereas normally, I mean, it's changed now a bit in football, but previously you'd have to have an exam to become an agent. And, net in boxing, like you guys could just go, do you know what? Do you fancy managing some fighters? And next thing, you're in my office telling me why this guy's worth $3 million.
You must get all sorts.
All sorts. Every shape and form of. But I've been educated around it since I was 7 or 8 years old. I grew up around the sport with my dad and, and I've seen everything. So for me, being around those people is not a problem. Yeah, but it's not a problem because I've been with them my whole life,
And what about, you said about like David Hay kind of turning it on back in the day and teaching you, I guess, a thing or two. Yeah. What about, so now, would you take a strategy into a presser? Because we were pissing ourselves, to be fair, when you were talking with Conor Benn, like Chris Eubank Jr. And we were saying, like, you guys, it's a show.
Yeah.
It is like a WWE for real. And you're saying, get in there on Saturday and put it on him.
Stick it on him.
And we're going, this is just brilliant.
Connor's so volatile, you don't really have to say too much. I don't like the idea of I don't want it to be scripted, but fighters have got to understand more than anything. Like, I would never say this or do that, but they've got to learn that obviously the more compelling they are, the bigger the narrative around the fight, the bigger the fight.
Yeah.
So my job is to sell you the story of the fight. So for Eubank Ben, I mean, it's the easiest fight to sell. Their dad's fault, right? They're Nigel Ben's son and Chris Eubank's son, right? Obviously, all the drama around the drug test and everything like that. Now he's fighting. He's sticking it on him. He's shoving him out the way. And that's not, like, afterwards, they aren't going up to each other going, oh, that was good. Like, genuinely, they want to take each other's heads off their shoulders. So with Connor's great because you just let him go.
He looks volatile, doesn't
he?
Yeah,
he might say to me, "Can I get in there?" I go, "Yeah, mate, go on, hop in."
But you're,
but after that, he's on his own. And
you're not. I guess you're encouraging him even more because when you're going, he's going to go up to 160 and he's not going to set about him, and I'm thinking like, oh my god! But it's kind of us two are the ones. Yeah. You're probably aiming it at because we're not boxing diehards, right?
But the casuals are what make the size of the fight.
Exactly.
So the boxing diehards might go, "Oh, I don't like that Conor Ben. He's cringe. He shouldn't be doing this." And then my mates on our WhatsApp groups are going, "Wow, when's the tickets out for Ben Eubank?" I'm all over that, And ultimately, that's your market. That's your audience. That's how you turn a 200,000 pay-per-view fight into 1 million buys pay-per-view fight. And that's what AJ did so well because he just reached all of the casual market, rather than just people who followed boxing every Saturday night.
Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed this clip of the Fozcast. If you would like to watch the full episode, it is now available exclusively on Spotify for free.